Okay, welcome back to Esoteric Soul Teachings. We have some special surprises tonight. First of all, I want to mention that you'll notice we're honoring the Leo lion tonight, and the lion energy. It's very powerful, it's very strong, it's creating all kinds of stuff, which we'll be talking about in the podcast. But who I have with me in the studio here is Kat Regan, very dear friend, but also very much a light worker and a being of acceleration. She's working with people to accelerate, and we're going to have a conversation, which I hope you'll find it real interesting, because we together we both have a lot to share, which we do, and we finally decided, well, we'll do it together.
Yes.
We talked about this how long ago?
Years now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I told you I was going to do this, and
Yeah.
you said, oh, okay, I'll do it. I'll do part of it.
But now's the time, and so thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with what we're hearing, feeling, and experiencing in the social consciousness, but also more key to that is the people that we're around that are really working on their light body. They're really working on being aware and getting through this period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'm going to say a tiny bit about it, and I'm going to let Kat do what she needs to do, discussing her experiences with it, but thought it'd be fun to have both of us share. Mine are all the way from, I'm getting calls of people feeling possessed. Some are saying I'm having a nervous breakdown. Some are saying I just don't feel good. Some are saying I can't sleep. A lot are saying I can't sleep.
That's a big one.
It's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
But most of all, a general sense of, now this is very odd, okay, but a general sense of being still, and yet at the same time, I don't know how it happens at the same time, feeling things speeding up.
Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you experience that?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely been an acceleration lately, which of course has been gradually happening for the last few decades.
That's true.
But it does feel like we have gone up a notch or two within the last...
Or 3 or 4 or 5.
Right, the notches keep going up, and it feels like when things get really crazy and just feel like they're so intense and really speeding up, we go through periods of that acceleration, and then we might have just a little bit of a calm, a low, and before we used to have that for maybe days or weeks or months,
yeah.
And now it seems like we're lucky if we have it for days.
It doesn't even feel like
hours.
It doesn't even feel like a calm. Here's what people are telling me, and what I'm experiencing. It's not a calm; it's a fallout. It's
yes.
like you go into this void where it doesn't feel like anything's happening. I had a call today saying, "Who am I? Can you tell me? Can you tell me where I live? I'm not even sure where I live." And then I heard yesterday, I have no idea about time.
That's very legitimate questions. I've had those questions lately myself.
Both of us have this. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but we have a relationship with time that's really different. It's been like that since I was forever, and I know, knowing you for years, same for you. It's like time is a very nebulous thing for us.
It is. It is.
So you might be missing appointments. Of course, we have a Mercury retrograde as well. Now,
yes.
Some of you say, "Oh, well, that's, you hear the term," but we'll together describe a retrograde, and a retrograde basically seems to slow things down so that things can be reviewed and re-looked at. It can confuse communication.
Yes. Yes. Can
What-
affect electronics.
Yeah.
That's always a big one with Mercury and retrograde, and car trouble, computer trouble.
Yep.
And
But most of all, I'm really advocating myself that people really look at it as a time when the things they haven't gotten completed, do it now. Do it during the retrograde. Because if you've done it, if you started the process before the retrograde and you go into the retrograde, the likelihood is that you'll complete it. If you're trying to start something new, I don't know, not so much as something old.
Yeah.
I put my car in the garage, and when I picked it up, it's like they missed some pinstripes around so I had to go back and have them do some pinstripes on my car. That's Mercury retrograde, to me anyway.
Yeah. Well, is it true, as an astrologer, that if you're born with the Mercury in retrograde, that you will experience the opposite that everyone else may experience who does not have Mercury in retrograde in their natal chart?
It's true. They have an easier time. They've lived with it their entire life, and they kind of expect the unexpected, you might say, because certainly that's what happens during a retrograde. You can say, let's meet for lunch at such and such a place, and what we've heard is let's meet for lunch at another completely different place.
Right, and they go to two different places.
They end up at two different restaurants. So it can be tricky. One time I was at an airport just that very day when it went retrograde, and it was actually hilarious to watch. Everyone was so confused trying to get their schedules handled, and the people that were trying to put people on planes, that was getting messed up. And most of humanity doesn't really understand that there are influences that changes the energy, and so we're gonna talk about that.
Right. Well, when you think that everything's energy, and the heavenly bodies, so they're called the planetary bodies that are out there in our solar system, they're emitting energy.
That's right.
And we're being affected by that energy that they're
They
emitting.
have a vibrational frequency. You might say they're alive as well, and they're emanating and directing that they're called neutrons towards us.
Yes.
And they recently discovered these neutrons, and it's energy that can permeate into anything. Doesn't matter what it is, trees, bodies, whatever. So let's talk for a minute about what's really happening right this minute. As an astrologer and a counselor, it seems as if, and I don't think it's anybody's imagination, but it seems as if things are more chaotic and hectic, particularly in the realm of the physical. What do you discover with that?
Absolutely, but I think it spills over into the emotional body and the mental body.
Totally.
And they're definitely getting, affected. And of course, we have the spiritual body, which is probably the least body that people are aware of and really kind of think about. It almost feels like they're not in sync. They're out of sync. The mental body is going active and can be in overdrive, and the emotional body can be affected by so many things outside.
Triggers of certain things.
Yeah. So it's
well, it's interesting. That just came up in a session today before the podcast, and that was that I call the spiritual body the etheric body, and in my teachings I have done extensive work with this etheric body, which is our sensing body. It senses things. If somebody's coming close to us, if our eyes are closed, somebody's coming close to us, we can actually feel it within a certain variance of the space around us. And also that etheric body senses, it has no time, no space.
Yes.
And it doesn't want to do trauma. It doesn't like to, it likes to be comfortable. It's almost like a child, wanting to be swaddled. And so when things are traumatic, it sort of spreads away from the other bodies in order to avoid some of the discomfort. Now we've got a real spacey situation, and this client in particular had gone through an almost death experience where she really was way out there and could have passed and didn't, thank you, God. And so what we did in a session was we brought her etheric body by releasing, and this is important, by releasing a belief system about death that freed her up for her emotion, her etheric body to then enter down into the other bodies so she could be down in her body.
And you make a very important point with that, because our belief systems, and I think that's one reason why people are really having this scrambling of the mental body and the emotional bodies, because those belief systems and those patterns that we hold, whether it be genetic or what we brought into it was from past lives, or just what we've picked up just since we've been on this earth in this body. All of that is coming up to be purged.
Correct.
Which is necessary to lighten up so we can be more in our spiritual etheric bodies.
So we can build also our light bodies.
That's right.
So fear blocks the flow of light entering into the body. Period.
Yes.
It freezes everything. And so, and guilt, and it's all fear anyway, but all of the emotions that are difficult. And so that slows us up from actually being able to receive this wonderful energy that's coming in. And the body is not prepared for taking on always as much as it is. So sometimes, and I don't know if any of you out there are experiencing that, but people are having the most bizarre experiences on the physical realm that I have ever seen before. And I just keep hearing these stories of these unforeseen things that are happening to people. And I finally said to this one client today, I finally said to her, you don't know that what happened to you that scared you so badly was just a reawakening of a belief system around death, and that as long as that belief system is in place, your body is not free to receive what's being downloaded. So
That's powerful.
it's so interesting because I really want to mention that this may take a while, but essentially the light body and our physical body at some point on the evolution of this planet, I believe, I feel, is going to reach a point where we can either be in physical body or we can be in our light body. And that's what we're preparing for. That's why the frequency is raising, and that's why we have to be willing to go through the changes, no matter how weird they are, or how painful they are, or
and how unknown they are.
Unknown.
It does help to have an idea of what is transforming, so that you can be a little more accepting and tolerant of these changes that are happening and this acceleration. And I think the acceleration has a lot to do with the transformation of the body,
Absolutely.
the light body. And the body's going from a carbon base to a crystalline base.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, the cells transform, everything transforms into more of a light. And I think our whole body is going to transform too. It'd be interesting. We're kind of entering unknown territory.
Very much so.
But we're all on this ride. And we all have the A ticket, or is it E ticket?
We got permission. We asked and got permission to be here now.
Or volunteered. I remember volunteering.
Do you remember volunteering?
Yes.
Well, you wanted to.
Yes.
That's why. So I hear a lot of people saying, I'm sorry to even be here. I want to be here.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. You're not getting out that easy.
Well,
you wouldn't even be here if
yeah,
you didn't.
That's right. Yeah. It really is a gift.
Oh, yeah.
It's a gift to be here and to experience what's happening. And although we're not really sure, some have insights and some say this is coming and that's coming. I'm not sure, exactly what's going to happen. I don't know if we do until we actually experience. We can only go from day to day, but there's things you can do to really kind of.
Yeah, I'm going to have you. She was before we started this. Kathy was reading some things. I'm going to have you do that, but before you do that, I do have a sense of what that looks like, and it's very simple.
Yes.
It's reaching a state of consciousness where we really are looking at our positive thought processes instead of the negative ones, where our thoughts are more on love and forgiveness. We allow more. The polarities are not significant to us anymore. It serves its purpose for so many of us. And some will stay in the polarities and do the rights and wrongs and goods and bads. And we're looking at that with our politics, they're still playing the game of right and wrong and good and bad and all that stuff. So my choice is, to be neutral, to do neutrality with it and watch the game
so important
as it goes.
Right. And not be affected by anything that goes on in the world that's outside of you. And that's a tall order.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes some
work
and it takes some and discipline and but
I just talked to my one of my relatives, and he said the saddest thing for him right now is that in his church there's division in the church as to which political president's going to be in, and so it's their longtime friendships are even separating. So that's starting to rewire again into the consciousness, and so we're tested. We're tested to just make it
tested.
Be what it is. So, do you mind reading or telling us those things you read in your?
Oh yes, of course. So it's a list of things that you can do to assist you in activating the light body. So one, of course, is to meditate every day, twice a day if you can. Meditation is really important. And there's many different meditation techniques, and I don't think it really matters one that works for you. But what's important in any meditation practice is taking that time to go within and contemplate, discover what's going on inside you, and turn off the world and go within. There's a whole realm within ourselves. So that's one thing. The other thing is very important to stay hydrated and get in nature, spend time in nature. Of course, spend time in mindfulness. Spend every day in mindfulness and contemplation. and staying positive. And visualization is another very powerful tool. You can visualize light coming into the body and filling every cell and charging every cell with golden light. The other is getting in water, and I think you have
Also,
a few to
Yeah, it's very interesting. There's something going on. I'm taking clues from the people I work with, and there's something about the balance of electrolytes. So as this is going on, make sure your electrolytes are balanced, not just water, but the electrolytes. Being refreshing ourselves with water is like Kathy mentioned, is so key. But more than that is, if you can get near water, get in water.
Yes.
Now it's just as key for some to garden and be in the earth.
Yes.
So we're looking at the elements here.
Right.
We're looking at air as breathe. The breath is so important
That's
now.
right. Breath work's another one.
And the breath I use, Kathy can probably give you another one. The breath I use is a 4 breath. You breathe it in through your nose to the count of 4. You hold it to the count of 4. You release through your mouth to the count of 4. We need oxygen and water. Those are the 2 things that are so key.
That's right. And trace minerals are another very important element that the body needs very much of. And our food is just kind of deprived from the minerals. So trace minerals are really important.
Absolutely.
And if you can get some drops to add to your water every time you drink it. I had an interesting experience where recently I went to see a gentleman who does blood cell analysis, and you take a drop of blood and he puts it in a microscope and he projects it up on the screen, and dehydrated cells are slow and clumped together.
Right.
And don't move very, very fast. Cells that are hydrated and full of electrolytes and minerals and prana, with breathing long and deep, are pumped up. They literally have a light around them and a light in the center. So bright. And they're dancing around, and so we did an experiment with this one lady who was there, who cells were really slow and kind of clumped together, and so the gentleman said, I want you to drink some water, a glass of water, and I want you to do some deep breathing. And now she drank the water and she did some deep breathing for maybe 30 seconds. We saw the cells.
She took another blood sample.
No, it was the same.
Oh, same one? Oh.
And they were reacting to her breathing and the water. He says that the cells actually respond out of your body for a certain amount of time. They respond to you, which is fascinating. Very fascinating.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And that was evidence of the importance of hydration and minerals.
Right.
And on breathing too. Very important.
So we're giving you lots of information. There is one last one that I really want to emphasize, because it is, I mean, it's important enough it will save your life. And what that is be in the moment, rationally look at your life in this moment, check it out. Am I okay? Am I doing all right? Okay, everything's fine. And recognize that in that moment you're fine. And stay in the moment as much as you can, because it's the only thing that I have found, and I've been in practice a lot of years, it's the only thing that really can stop that process
Right.
fear and spiraling
Right.
out.
Out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could add one thing to that, because that is very powerful. One thing I've been doing lately that I find very, very powerful
Mm-hmm.
is holding, placing my hands in, it doesn't matter where, if you put it,
Mm-hmm.
usually on some chakra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your heart, your belly, wherever. And you just, you tune into your breath, you tune into your body, you feel that connection, and then you say, I am here, I am present, I am not leaving, I am connected,
Yeah,
and I love you.
that's lovely. Thank you, Kathy. That is perfect.
And I think our body needs to feel that. And
Needs to hear it,
that.
yeah.
And we need to, so we're telling ourselves, we're telling our body, and every cell
We're
in our
combining
body
all the bodies
responds.
by doing that.
That's right.
That's what's happening.
Yes.
Well, I want to. How would people reach you if they want to talk to you, Kathy? You can, if there's anything you'd like to share, because we're gonna close here, and I'm gonna.
Okay. I could be contacted at catregan.com is my website. I'm a yoga instructor, and so you can go to my website, send me an email from there.
Okay. And you're going to see podcasts and YouTubes like this on Esoteric Soul Teachings. So check in on me there. I have a private practice and an office in Scottsdale, and you can call me there. And I have a website that is Shenayda at gmail.com. That's the least best one. You can also call me and text me, because I'm open, and I'm also doing because of this heat here, I'm doing a lot of phone work because people don't want to get out.
That's
So-
right. We're turning into a virtual.
Just give a call
society.
and I'll set a time for you, and there we go. What's your number? 602-908-6971. My director, by the way, I want to acknowledge Adele. She's running the thing here, and she's reminding me about phone number. So that's 602-908-6971. So both are better than I am with that. So thank you. We had a good time having you here.
Yes, thank you. I
Really-
really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I liked it. Good night. We'll see you, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Yes. Breathe.